Hello, and welcome to our presentation. Today, we will be talking about the article Strategies for Caring Mathematical Interactions. We will begin with the Meet the Team. Your presenters for today will be Elizabeth, Erica, Jillian, and Caitlin. Feel free to read our blurb. The most important takeaway from this article was that how we handle classroom relationships between teachers and students plays a role in how all students experience mathematics. The first most important thing that was mentioned was relational interactions, which is broken down into 5 components. This includes addressing behavior, framing mathematics ability, acknowledging student contributions, attending to language and culture, and setting the emotional tone. This all plays part in the importance of quality education. This means including students in problem solving, mathematical discussion, and student explanations. Next, the article mentioned positively framing mathematics ability. So how to frame positive mathematic abilities. Revoicing student thinking, highlighting students' mathematical competence, and recognizing multiple competencies. I've also included a little text from the article that says, discovering students' mathematical competencies and acknowledging their contributions during class discussions can significantly improve their relationships with math. I thought this was very inspirational and a good quote to include. So some ways to encourage student thinking: note the problem that the student solved correctly, pose the revised problem to the class, and return to the original problem as a check for understanding. Lastly, the article mentions creating emotional space and reflecting on caring mathematical relationships. 2 ways to create an emotional space with your students includes validating student emotions while doing mathematics and supporting perseverance and effort. Some ways to reflect as a teacher is to focus on students' competency, highlighting correct parts of their thinking, and creating more emotional space.
This article can relate to a TED Talk our class watched that outlines 7 principles to extraordinary math teaching. The second principle was to allow the students to make mistakes. Our article outlines the importance of making students okay with making mistakes, and as teachers, we must focus on the positive aspects of their work even when it is incorrect. If a student showed understanding through their showed work, but got the final answer wrong, we must praise them for their understanding and work through finding the final answer together, ensuring that they understand where they went wrong. Mistakes are how we do better, and by stressing this to our students, they can maintain confidence in the classroom. A second key connection within our article is differentiated instruction in a math class. To successfully teach students in the class, we must consider Lev Vygotsky's theory of zone of proximal development. According to our article, to frame positive mathematical abilities, we must understand the multiple competencies we have in the classroom. Each student learns differently and at different paces, meaning we must differentiate what and how we teach. To determine the student's zone of proximal development, it is the distance between what a learner is not currently capable of doing unsupported and what they can do unsupported. Finding each student's zone of proximal development will assist us in planning lessons and assignments that can help students learn ideally.
With any grade, strand, or mathematical concept, it is important to ensure that the interactions we are having with our students during math are positive, encourage students' thinking, and provide students with support. One way we can create caring mathematical interactions is by teaching students that making mistakes is a part of learning and we can learn from our mistakes. Consider this: your grade 3 students are practicing multiplication and are given the problem 5 times 2. One student says the answer is 7. Rather than telling the student that they are wrong and telling them the correct answer, you can ask them how they got their answer and recognize the correct aspects of their answer. Not only does this help the student learn from their mistakes, but it validates their thinking and they understand that they can make mistakes and still be confident with their mathematical learning. Another way to create caring interactions is to bring everyday experiences into the classroom. One example of this could be when teaching fractions. You can use baking to help your grade 5 class understand the concept of adding fractions. By connecting math concepts to experiences that students have had, students are able to see how they would use that concept in their lives and see the value of it. As math teachers, it is important to recognize that math can be challenging for some students, and it is important that we help those students to feel confident and excited about math by creating caring interactions that support and contribute to their mathematical learning.
One issue that may arise with this method of math instruction is that students may not be accustomed to receiving positive feedback about the answers they give in class. It may take a while for students to become aware that it is acceptable for them to make mistakes and get the answer wrong. In some cases, it might be difficult to give feedback on students' thinking when they are reluctant to speak due to their anxiety or feelings of inadequacy. However, we believe that with time and consistency, this negative view that students have towards mathematics can be mended and repaired. With these concerns in mind, here is an important question to reflect on that will push you to further your understanding of this article. Besides following the framework provided in this article, what are additional things we can do as educators to encourage students who refuse to participate in math discussions to speak up and not be afraid of being wrong? On the next slide, there are additional discussion questions that are aimed at getting you to thinking about how to put the concepts in this article into practice.
We have also created some discussion questions. Feel free to use them during the discussion period. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We have included the link in the case that you want to read the article for yourself.